What's up, y'all? Hope everybody is well. I'm on day 7 of my day 6 of my isolation. So I got 4 days to go. Thank God. I am starting to lose it a little bit. Anyway, I wanted to come and send this message because I woke up thinking about it. And, if you're in my community, it is likely that you have seen some of the, I hope you have, and if not, then I need you to diversify your timeline. Some of the sort of montages of reporters and high-ranking officials talking about how egregious the war in Ukraine is, basically because it's happening to white bodies. I mean, and there are tons. like I've seen at least 8 or 9 clips of reporters from the US to European journalists and politicians, all decrying the experience on the basis of the fact that these people are European and they're white, and how sad it is to watch, people with blonde hair and blue eyes be killed or be subjected to violence. And as well as, the reports of Black immigrants in Ukraine being forced to wait at the back of the line after white people in order to evacuate, being forced to stay in Ukraine, being refused entry into Poland. So Anti-Blackness continues to, do what a white supremacist delusion is going to delude at every opportunity it is that it is given. What I want us to think about and to be present to, right, is like, yes, one, I want us to be aware of the anti-Black racism that is inherent inside of everything. War, anything happen. If it's happening in Europe, it includes some racism. I don't know what else to tell you. We should just start there. If it's happening in Europe, it's going to include some racism. If it's happening in the United States, it's going to include some racism. Period. But what I want people to do is notice when they are being given an opportunity to raise their subconscious to the conscious. When they are given the opportunity by their own higher self to see the shit they really think. Part of what we end up debating about so often are people's intentions, right? Or you can't tell what's in someone's heart. We say this all the time, right? And which consequently reduces the conversation of white supremacist delusion and racism to a conversation about what's inside somebody's head or what's inside somebody's heart, right? Which is the thing you can't debate. So it's a gaslighting tactic for people doing anti-racist work. But then people tell you what's inside their head. And then we say, oh, no, it was just a slip of the tongue. Like, you didn't mean that. People tell you. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about a clip from President Joe Biden talking about equating blackness with poverty. And somebody who's like all about this internet thing, if you all want to pull the clips for this and do a little montage, that would be amazing. You would be my homie for life. So there's that Biden clip. Then not even a month ago, Mitch McConnell told on his whole racist ass self. I can't remember what his clip was about, but y'all find it. Mitch McConnell says something racist. It'll come out. I imagine. It might be a lot of things. But that was just a month ago. Then, the reporter on CBS the other day was like, this isn't even happening in civilized countries. This is happening, this is happening in a civilized country. all of these are code words for um, for what we have come to start calling implicit bias, right? Because the word racism is so uncomfortable for everybody. But I had a conversation with my friend India Irene, in which we talked about this idea of conscious and unconscious racism, right? There's the overt racism. There's the just KKK, Dylan Roof, you know, Tucker Carlson racist. Like, they know what they are. They may not like the word, but they don't have any intentions on thinking differently. They believe what they believe. And then there are everybody else. And I legitimately mean everybody else, because I really do deeply believe that you cannot grow up indoctrinated into this system and not hold some amount of anti-Blackness. It's not possible. It's what you mainline every single day, right? And you know that you mainline it because these are the sorts of things that come out of politician and journalist faces when they start talking about the death and violence being experienced on white bodies, right? And so what I see it as is an opportunity, rather, like, what people respond to with themselves when they do this is then like some sort of strange apology that is not actually an apology. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I didn't mean it like that, right? It's all of these sorts of deflections and means of not taking accountability. When really what's happening in that moment is your subconscious thinking. Your unconscious racism has come out as conscious racism, right? It has formed itself into language. And it's showing you what you believe. And I believe it's showing you what you believe so that you can do something about it. You are at a point of choice in that moment. This is what I talk about in The Body is Not an Apology. Thinking, doing, being, right? You raise your thoughts to consciousness. And then once you've raised the thought to consciousness, you have a choice about what you do from that point. So these slip-ups, these guffaws, these accidents are actually someone's psyche trying to raise their subconscious belief, their unconscious belief to consciousness such that they have a choice about how they move forward. You can choicefully begin to interrogate those beliefs and undo them. That's what makes you an anti-racist. That's what makes you a person working inside of a radical self-love praxis. Or you can be like, oh, that's what I believe, and I believe it, and I'm doubling down on it. And you can become a conscious racist, like many people in the world, and carry on about your business. But we are approaching a point where having uninterrogated white supremacist delusion will not protect you. It will not protect you from the circumstances and outcomes of that world, because we are reaching a point where you will have to decide who are you with and what are you against. And you noticed I said, who are you with and what are you against, not who are you against. Because this isn't about the individual people. This is about a set of ideas. And people's ideas can change. People have the ability to shift and transform, should they so choose. And so I am against white supremacist delusion. I'm not against white people. I'm against white supremacist delusion. And I'm against an uninterrogated application of it again and again and again. I'm against self-deception and gaslighting. And so these moments, so notice it for yourself. Your subconscious beliefs, your implicit bias, your white supremacist delusion will slip out. And rather than trying to figure out how you shove it back in the box so you don't get caught, what would it look like to be like, oh, It wants me to deal with this. It wants me to evolve past this. And it's presenting it to me so that I might. Let me get really honest with myself and look at it. We might not be able to stop this war in Ukraine, but we can take the teaching moments that live inside of it and apply them to our lives such that we might prayerfully not arrive at this point again, not continue to be in a loop, right? When we have the opportunity to be in a spiral, to see it, to maybe go through the same circumstances, but to see it from an evolutionary standpoint. That's what's on offer here. And I hope we'll take it.